I think I just made my favorite secret pajamas ever. Until I make the next ones anyway. Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Paula Jean, and I just want to take a quick second to thank everybody who left me such lovely and supportive messages on my last video. Really appreciate it. So thank you. What I am sharing with you today is a really comfy top and a super comfy pair of pants that I made that feel like they're sweats, but they look a lot more elevated. And yeah, I could probably even wear this outfit on a date if I wanted to. So let's get into those. Right before Christmas, I ran out of some things that I needed to finish some gifts that I was making. And my favorite go-to place of late, especially since Joann's closed, is this fabulous creative reuse place that is not too far from me. It's just in Pasadena, which is just east of me. And it's this place called Remainders Creative Reuse. So they have a bunch of like fabrics, supplies, like for art supplies, school supplies, patterns, elastics, laces, just so much stuff. And it's basically a thrift store for any creative endeavor. I didn't need any fabric. I was after like some elastic and I think some embroidery thread, which I did find. But I always rifle through the bins a little bit, and I ended up finding this chunk of what I think is a rayon blend ribbed sweater knit. It actually feels really similar to this Sibley knit. This is from Serge Fabrics that my Andy dress is made from. So it's basically a ribbed version of that, and I put my hands on it, and it was just so soft, so gushy. I pulled it out. It was a bit of an irregularly shaped piece. Many of the things in the bins there are that way. They also have fabric on bolts. So I don't know why I'm telling you this, because unless you live in California or near LA, it's not going to make any difference to you, but maybe there's some local people there who know about it, or it might inspire you to go to some kind of creative reuse store that might be in your area. So yeah, anyway, I think it was $2.63. Like it wasn't even a pound. Didn't know what I was going to make with it, but then I saw the Kiara knit dress pattern from Just Patterns, and I was like, oh, perfect. I did not have enough to make the full dress, but I was pretty sure that I would have enough to make a top. So the Kiara pattern was one of two knit dress patterns that Delphine had come out with. And it's this really cool, asymmetrical, loose, slinky, slouchy, off the shoulder, long sleeve top part. And then it's attached to just a straight, plain, kind of semi-fitted skirt. The skirt doesn't have any darts or anything like that. I think there's a little bit of elastic in the waist, but you don't really see it because it's covered up by the blousiness of the top part. This design is right up my alley. I love asymmetrical designs, and I didn't have the fabric to do a muslin anyway, and because it was so loose and oversized and slinky and stuff, I thought, oh, I'll be fine. And it came together super quickly. Very cool that it has actually the same piece for the front and the back. So it's just one piece for the top. And then I think it's also one pattern piece for the skirt part too. And it's the same in the front and the back. So really easy. And I think I cut it out and put it together in the same afternoon and evening. I didn't make any changes. I didn't shorten it. I didn't do any kind of adjustments. The only thing that I did was, because the facing that finishes the neckline is actually a cut-on facing, and they do say in the instructions at the point where the facing becomes the fold, which is at the shoulder, they suggest that you put a piece of interfacing to kind of bolster that up. Because my sweater knit was so stretchy and gushy, I was kind of concerned about that neckline stretching out over time. So I just interfaced with a lightweight knit interfacing the entire length of that cut-on facing for the front and the back. I also added a piece of clear elastic that I zigzagged onto the facing side of the fold, just to make sure that that's never gonna stretch out. I didn't stretch the elastic at all, just tried to keep it as flat flat as possible. And I think it worked out really great. So when I'm wearing it, I don't ever worry about like stretching it out or anything like that. The sleeves are, it's funny because the sleeves are actually this short little piece because the shoulder is very, very dropped. So you just have this short little piece that extends it into a long sleeve. However, I have seen some people who have just left that off and finished basically what qualifies as the arm side of the pattern piece of the bodice, finish that into a short sleeve, and actually that comes almost to the elbow. So I can really envision this in like a lighter weight knit without the sleeves attached, and for that to be a really nice slinky spring and summer dress. Also, because it's the same in the front and the back, you could flip it around. You could actually do a two-toned, like one color in the front and another color in the back, and flip it around whenever you want to. I prefer it on my left shoulder because my right hand is my dominant hand. So I reach for and reach up with this hand a little bit more. So it just feels more natural for me to have my exposed shoulder be the left one, so it corresponds with the shoulder that comes higher up on the neckline. That's getting into the weeds. You probably don't want to know about that, but there you have it. Anyway, is that all I want to say about that? Yeah, I guess so. Just super easy, cozy, sexy, cool. Oh, a bra to wear. So obviously you can wear it with a strapless bra, or if you don't mind showing a bra strap, you can just wear it with a regular bra, nothing wrong with that. I actually decided to make a bra for this, or a bra top. So the fabric that I'm using in the pants that I'm going to show you was some charcoal gray ponte. And I had just a tiny chunk of it left over after I cut out the pants. So I decided to make just the one shoulder part of the Roxy bralette pattern from Madeline. And I had made a hack of it that she has on her YouTube channel before. And so I had already done the fitting that needed to be done on it. And I was like, oh, well, maybe I'll just make a comfortable like bra top to wear under this sweater. I was actually quite surprised at how well I feel supported. Like it's sort of like not a loose sports bra, but you know, like not a super supportive bra, but I don't feel exposed when I wear it, and I don't feel like I move a lot when I wear it. So I was actually pleasantly surprised with how well this turned out, and I'm now thinking I want to do that kind of one shoulder top and make a one-piece bathing suit using that as the top part. Anyway, yeah, Roxy bralette, Kiara knit dress hacked into a top, great combination. Next, I made the Ayla pant by True Bias, and this is such a good pattern, you guys. So I had this gray charcoal ponte that I've had in my stash for a long time. It's the same one that I made the one-shouldered bra top out of, and I thought that I wanted to make kind of almost a legging style pant out of it that I could wear under like tunics and skirts and dresses in the cooler months. But then the Ayla pant came along, and I was like, oh no, this is the pattern. So the Ayla pant is a knit pant that has a fitted waist and hip, and then it flares out into this really lovely long wide leg. It has no pockets, no bells or whistles or anything on it. It does have two versions. The version A is just plain, like it's a front and a back, and that is it. You could make it in probably an hour or two. And then the view B, which you could also probably make in an hour or two, is a pieced version. It's got a seam line in the center front and the center back of the leg. You can also top stitch that seam to highlight that detail a little bit more. And yeah, and that's it. That's all there is to the pant. I did not have enough of my charcoal ponte to make the full length, which disappointed me a little bit, but I really wanted to make this style so badly. I decided that a cropped version was gonna be fine. I wear cropped pants all the time, so that was fine. Also doing the version B, I was able to kind of jigger my pattern pieces to make the most out of my fabric real estate. So I got sort of a midi length, and then I was also able to add a hemband of about 2 inches to the bottom, so that gave me a little bit more length as well. Now, I mentioned that this pattern does not come with pockets. I wanted pockets, but I did not want side seam pockets because, like I said, it is very fitted through the waist and hips, and I didn't want the bulk at the sides. I also thought it was highly likely that I would get like a gaping pocket opening when I walked because of the way that these pants fit. So I decided to, with the version B, incorporate a pocket that I do not know the name of. It is the same pocket that is on the Closet Core Pietra pants pattern, and I think it's also on the Encore skirt by Love Notions. So it's basically a pocket that is incorporated into a side front piece of a princess seamed garment. So whether that's a dress that has full princess seams top to bottom, or a pair of pants that has a seam line that runs down the center front of the leg. And I am going to show you how I did that on this pattern right now. Okay, let's make a pocket. So these represent the shrunken down versions of all of the pattern pieces that you get with the Ayla pant pattern. The one without the front and back seam is just 2 pieces, so front and a back, comes together super simple. I'm gonna set those aside. And then the ones with the seam, this is the side back and middle back of the back, and the side front and middle front of the front. So those make up the front and the back. One thing you want to make sure of when you're sewing up the back of this one is to pay attention to the notches that are marked on the pattern, because it's really easy if you're using a fabric like ponte that looks the same or similar on both sides. It's easy to think that it would go like this, or at least I found that. I was like, oh, of course I want the waist to curve. I don't know why I thought that, but I did. But if you pay attention to the notches, then you will not have that issue. So we don't need these right now. And then this is the middle front and side front, and we are only working with the side front, so I can take that away as well. So I've made these lines here that represent where I placed my pocket, and I basically just put this piece up to me, decided where I wanted the top of the pocket to be and about how long I wanted to be, and I just basically made it, I think, an inch or 2 longer than my phone. And I just arbitrarily decided that I wanted a slanted pocket opening. You could easily do a straight one as well. And then the bottom, which is going to represent a fold line, is going to be straight across. So I marked this on my pattern piece, and when you cut this piece out, you will add some seam allowance, and I've just added it here represented by this little green line. I don't know if you can see that, but it is there. And then I folded it over, and so when I cut out the piece, I cut it out like this, just with that seam allowance at the top. And then I took this piece and traced out the top part here just to the bottom of the pocket, and I made little hash marks here so that I could tell where those lines are. From there, I just made my line here and made my bottom line here. And you'll notice that I have this purposely on a piece of paper that is almost double the length of the actual pattern piece. And that's because from this step, you're going to fold this at the fold line, cut out the piece, and then take a little tracing wheel to mark that line. And when I open it up, I can follow that line. And if you need to, like I do, draw the line in. And this is also where you want to add that seam allowance. And the seam allowances on this are all 3/8 of an inch, so that's where I made the seam allowances on this pocket. And you're going to cut on that second line, that seam allowance line. And this is your pocket piece. So when you attach it to the front here, so once again, this is going to be the piece that you cut out. You're going to sew these right sides together. You're going to flip that over. And then this folds up. And now you have your piece. And then you'll baste this down and then continue sewing as I was going to say comme il faut, as you would according to the instructions. Now, if you're using a thicker ponte like I did, and you want what is basically going to be your pocket facing to be a thinner fabric, because it does become quite thick if you make this whole thing out of a ponte fabric. So what I decided to do, so I could use a lighter fabric here, is cut it off at the fold line here. And that's what this represents. And then I've just added here a little bit of seam allowance on both of the pieces at the bottom as well. And you are probably thinking, oh, and then I just, sew these right sides together and fold it up and attach it the same way. No. Because if you do that, then you're going to get a really bulky seam line here. And maybe you want that, but I did not want that. So instead, after you do this, you take this piece, which is going to be your lighter weight fabric, sew it right sides together, and then that ends up here. And I'm just going to take a little piece of tape to kind of hold these together. And from there, you're going to place this on top here. And before you do any basting over the sides, you're going to flip this up and you're going to sew this right along here. So this will actually be a raw edge that you can grade the seam allowances on. And this is made for knits, so nothing is going to ravel. And that's how you can get a cleaner finish there and a little bit lower of a profile. And from there, you can flip it over, do your basting on the side, and continue sewing as normal. So that is how I made my pocket on the Ayla pants. I hope that was clear and helpful. I think it turned out great on these pants, and I will likely incorporate them into my next pair as well. So those are my super comfortable, elevated, potentially date night style secret pajamas. Thank you so much for watching. Take great care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next one.